a abrupt emergency We Are Wrestling.
I think there's a lot of issues with that company.
They're going all in for these documentaries.
I want to be champion. I want to be the one to carry that flag.
Hate being a wrestling fan and love being a wrestling fan sometimes, but realize we're all just selfish pricks.
It's business.
So when guys start getting released and stuff, I got questions that need to be asked.
We are Wrestling Extra.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie here, doing a solo extra for the We Are Wrestling podcast. This is the stuff that didn't make the show that we're going to talk about in this special. I know you guys have been really enjoying them, and we're trying to give you guys more podcasts and more different varieties of content here on the We Are Wrestling channel. But before we get into all the topics for this extra, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know the grind is real. And just a couple things before we dive into our extras for this episode. First and foremost, if you guys haven't checked out the latest episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, episode 126, with myself, Rage Circus, and Old School Phil, highly recommend going to listen to that. We talked about a lot of juicy topics in that episode. Plus, we put over Paul Heyman, and one of my favorite We Are Wrestling podcast episodes we've done so far. And just a reminder that this upcoming Monday, I will be live here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel for Monday Night Raw. And I think I'm going to be doing Monday Night Raw watch-alongs moving forward. I am really enjoying the show right now. And after the reactions, if you guys haven't checked out this past Monday's episode of Monday Night Raw reactions, highly recommend checking it out because I was convinced that I need to start doing live watch-alongs for them. And I know you guys have been really enjoying the live streams as of late. I've also been enjoying doing them as well. So I do want to give you guys more of that. So we will be live for Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. And I will give a happy birthday to Old School Phil because tomorrow on Sunday, the 22nd, will be his birthday. So I do want to wish him a happy birthday and friggin' don't party too hard. You're getting old. So with that being said, let's get into some of the extras that we do have for this week. And unfortunately, Ricky Knows Best is not here with me. He has some personal things going on right now, but he will be back, I believe, next week. So starting things off, according to PW Insider, WWE has signed Armada Estrada to a WWE Legends deal. And I think that this is a great move. And I'm so happy that WWE is finally signing new legends to contracts. I'm glad that Victoria, Jacqueline, and I believe Ken Shamrock, who I will be talking about later on in this extra, are now all signed to new WWE Legend deals. And Armada Estrada, I actually really do like this move. I know for a little bit there's some rumors that Armada was going to be a part of the new bloodline as the new wise man now that Paul Heyman has been kicked out. There are some speculations of that happening, but I'm glad he signed a Legends deal because having Umaga under a Legends deal, we get to see him in the video games. He gets wrestling figures, and I feel like Armada, I can't wait to get a WWE Mattel figure of him, which if you guys are into wrestling figures and collectible stuff, I do have a whole separate channel where I do reviews and I do toy hunts and all that. So I am actually really happy that we're getting these new names, not only because they could show up on WWE TV now and they can get merchandise and also just get another stream of income. I'm also very excited because that means we finally can get some new wrestling figures. And I really hope that we do get an Armada Estrada figure. That would be freaking awesome. I know Mattel was teasing it, so I'm actually really happy about this Legend signing. Somebody I really wasn't expecting to sign a deal, but let's keep them rolling, keep bringing in some more ruthless aggression guys. Let's get some attitude era people. And I might even do like a whole extra eventually talking about some of the people I want to sign legend deals. Like just like 10 people I could think of. I don't know. We're trying new stuff here on the We Are Wrestling channel. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. Moving on now to our next extra that we got to talk about. And I know we've been talking about this for weeks now on the We Are Wrestling podcast. And that's why it is on an extra, because there's only so much you can say. We got a huge update on Daniel Garcia. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Garcia has still not re-signed with AEW. According to Fightful, AEW believes that WWE has interest in Daniel Garcia. One top AEW talent had been under the impression that this summer that Garcia was saying, but that is far from a guarantee. And man, this whole Daniel Garcia thing literally has my mind blown. And we are actually getting very close to the date. I think Garcia's contract expires with AEW in October. And I thought like having him take out MJF, that meant he re-signed. And now like he is being taken serious as like an AEW guy. So I don't know, like I feel like Daniel Garcia is going to re-sign, but I could see WWE throwing big money at him. He's still very young. I believe he's in his mid-20s. He's great in the ring. He has a look, and he's somebody that WWE could build the future around within the next 10 years. So bringing in a guy like Garcia to NXT could do something, and he definitely stands out from a lot of the talent that are over there because of his technical wrestling background. So Daniel Garcia is in a great position right now because wherever he goes, he's going to be in a better situation. Like I think if I was Daniel Garcia, I would re-sign with AEW because they put a lot of stock in him by having him take out one of the best wrestlers on their roster, and that's MJF. He had a great match with them, and I felt like ever since he came back at AEW All In, he just has this momentum going for him. And I kind of want to see Garcia win a singles championship in AEW. And I feel like if he goes to WWE, it's going to be a massive loss for AEW because you had MJF getting taken out by somebody that is leaving your company. And that's not a good way to put over a new star. So I feel like at the end of the day, like Tony Khan is going to give Daniel Garcia more money than WWE. And I think Garcia is going to stay with AEW. But we are going to have to wait and see because NXT, they are moving to the CW and it does start in October. So Daniel Garcia could make some waves over there and show up. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, but I'm a big fan of his, so I hope that he does what's best for him. Moving on now to our next extra for this week's episode. During an interview with Chris Van Vliet, Ken Shamrock announced that he signed a Legends deal with the WWE, and I gotta say, this is a great move. Ken Shamrock, believe it or not, is one of my favorite Attitude Era guys. I really enjoyed the character. I felt like he should have definitely been a WWF champion, world champion, and I think that like his feud with The Rock was one of the best, and I actually thought that he was under a Legends deal, but maybe he re-signed. I don't know, because he has been getting like wrestling figures. He has been in the WWE video games, I believe. But having him locked into a deal, I really like this move. He's somebody that I feel like is criminally underrated and should be in the WWE Hall of Fame because I felt like he really paved the way for a lot of mixed martial art guys to transition from the octagon to the squared circle. And a lot of people give Kurt Angle the credibility for the ankle lock, but Ken Shamrock was the one that started that. I don't know. I feel like Ken Shamrock definitely deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I hope that he is now that Paul Levesque, Triple H is running things. I feel like we could definitely get Shamrock in there. But him signing a Legends deal, great move. I want to see these Legends get that bag, so I'm happy for Shamrock. Moving on now to our next extra. According to Fightful, AEW has zero interest in Matt Riddle. Khan has not had any interest in bringing Riddle, especially over the last few years. They were told that AEW talent almost never works with Riddle on the indies, and when they do, it's in Mexico. TNA sources hope to get Riddle to appear for them as he doesn't have a contract with MLW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I will say this, I think AEW would be a perfect fit for Matt Riddle. I feel like his style of wrestling could work in AEW, and I feel like he could be taken more serious over here. But I do feel like everybody already knows like the path for Matt Riddle. Like he left WWE because they didn't really have anything for him. And right now he's absolutely killing it in the indies. He's doing stuff for MLW. He's doing stuff for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I feel like in a year or two, Matt Riddle will come back to the WWE. He is a Triple H guy, and I could definitely see him coming back. And if they want to keep Randy Orton as a babyface, you can have Riddle come back as a heel, and you could do a program there because of the history. And I think that would be a great WrestleMania program. Because at the time with RK Bro, like I didn't understand why they did the faction. Obviously now with like Randy Orton's injuries and stuff with the back, it made sense why they did it because Randy Orton would like not have to take as many bumps. And the chemistry was there with him and Riddle. But I think a feud could be great. And in Black and Gold NXT, Matt Riddle was taken serious. Like he also had that comedic role to him, but at least he was taken serious when it mattered. And I think under Triple H, like that could happen again. And I think Matt Riddle could be one of those guys that has a better second run with the WWE than a first run. And it's already been like said that like Matt Riddle feels like Tony Khan doesn't really like the vibes of him, this and that. And with AEW focusing more on the stuff going on in the ring, you would think they want to bring Matt Riddle, but I do think AEW wants to avoid controversy. And I feel like that's why they're probably not going after Matt, because he does make a lot of negative headline news. And he's somebody that, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'll talk about it. I got the opportunity to meet at the Wrestling Classic 4. Thank you, Riddle, for giving us a We Are Wrestling shout out. And there's been many times on the podcast and previous episodes that I've come on and I have been very vocal about Matt Riddle's drama and that he is not an asset to the company. And I think a lot of that is because I know how talented he is. And I hate seeing somebody that has that potential to be a future WWE champion kind of just waste that. But after getting to meet him and kind of like understand where he's coming from, especially I think the interview with Chris Van Vliet really swayed me into just realizing that a lot of the times like these professional wrestlers that are vocal and that actually give a fuck about what they do, they're really not bad people at the end of the day. And when you're very vocal, when you're very opinionated, which I will say, I feel like I'm very opinionated, but now as I get older, I feel like I'm getting a lot better at the way I go about it. You're definitely going to make negative headlines. And I feel like that happens to Matt Riddle a lot, but I could definitely see him eventually going back to WWE. So I think AEW not going after him, I think, is a good move for AEW because they don't really need backstage drama. They don't really need those negative headlines. They're already getting them. So I feel like having Riddle just won't help that. And if he wants to have a redemption arc with his career, I think going to WWE is definitely the best move. Look at CM Punk right now. Ooh, Matt Riddle and CM Punk feud. That would be really freaking good. Moving on now to our next extra. And this is another AEW topic. AEW has big plans for Dianna Perazzo. According to PW Insider, there's been talks in AEW of building a faction around Dianna Perazzo. And I will say this, I think that this could be a really good move for the AEW women's division. I feel like as long as it's going to put her in a better position than she is now, I'm happy because I think Dianna, the Virtuosa, one of the most talented female wrestlers out there that I think is criminally underrated. Her Impact Wrestling run was great. Her NXT run was also fantastic, but fell short due to a lot of injuries that happened. I think with the right booking, she could definitely be somebody that you could build your division around. I would love to see her win the TBS championship, if not the AEW Women's World Championship. I think that she is that talented. Great technician, and somebody that I actually got to watch like in the very beginning of her career. So maybe I have a soft spot for her. And she's also Italian like myself. And I think that this will be a great move because I don't think AEW really has like a women's they don't really have a women's faction right now. I thought we were going to get that with Mercedes Moné and Camille, and I believe the twins that are on Ring of Honor, but we never got that. So I hope that Dianna, like, if she's going to do this, she could be on, like, Dynamite, and, like, they don't have to have her be hidden on, like, a Collision. Because let me just say, her versus Thunder Rosa, that feud has been fantastic on AEW Collision. Like, I really enjoyed their series of matches, and I felt like it definitely deserved more flowers than it got because it was on Collision. Not a lot of people really watch it, but it's something that I do highly recommend going back into, like, AEW's YouTube channel and watching because it's some really good stuff. But Dianna getting a new faction, as long as it catapults her and puts her in the right position, I'll be happy. But now, who should be a part of her faction? Honestly, I wouldn't mind her being paired up with, I think, Anna Jay would be great. I think Ty Mello, now that she's been cleared, which she announced on Sammy Guevara's vlog a couple weeks ago, I think having her and Anna Jay, and maybe even Penelope Ford, I think that that could be a really decent faction there. And then maybe even bring in like a Nyla Rose with her, having like a bigger woman in the group. I think that that could definitely be something. But I really hope that the creative team, they do take their time on this and it does work out, because I think this could definitely benefit Dianna and we could finally get her in the title picture where she definitely belongs. But the AEW women's division is stacked right now. Moving on now to our next extra, which this one's a quick one. During the Pat McAfee show, Sheamus announced that he re-signed with the WWE. We talked about this last week in our extra, and I think that this is a great move for WWE overall. I think that bringing back Sheamus, who has been a veteran, who's been loyal to the soil for the WWE, is a great move. You need to have that locker room leader. You need to have somebody that the casuals know. And right now, he's in a position where he is the workhorse of Monday Night Raw. He's out there having consistent television matches, and he's putting over Triple H guys like Pete Dunne, and he even put over Bronson Reed. And right now, he's currently putting over Ludwig Kaiser. So I think Sheamus is in a really good position right now, and I think they definitely need to have more veterans like him. So getting him locked in, great move. Glad that that announcement finally came out. So moving on now to our next extra. Dustin Rhodes is set to become a free agent. According to Fightful, Dustin Rhodes' AEW contract was still set to expire in the fall of AEW as of AEW All Out. So when it comes to Dustin Rhodes, I feel like he literally has the perfect path back to the WWE now that the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion, and one of the first matches in the AEW's promotion, they had Cody Rhodes versus Dustin, and they went out there and they absolutely killed it. Cody revived Dustin's career with that feud, which, by the way, they had no television deal at the time that they did it. So they relied on their YouTube channel to build this feud. And they proved, because back in the day, they pitched this to WWE, that they wanted to have this. But WWE turned it down because they thought that they couldn't sell a pay-per-view, which they were able to do in AEW. And they had a great freaking match. So Dustin Rhodes going back to WWE, like, I feel like if he's ready to hang the boots up, which you never know with him because he keeps saying, like, this is his last ride, then by all means, like, I would leave AEW and go back to WWE, do one final program with your brother, Cody Rhodes, and then hang up the boots and get on a Legends deal. But at the same time, like right now, Dustin, he's doing a lot of stuff in Ring of Honor. I believe he's the 6-man tag champs and the AEW or the Ring of Honor tag champs with Sammy Guevara, which I really haven't enjoyed the way that he's been booked. I felt like he was booked way better in the beginning of AEW. So honestly, I would love to see him go to WWE and do one final program with his brother Cody. But I think that Dustin doesn't really care about the popularity. He doesn't really care about WWE being like right now at the top, because Dustin, all he wants to do is just go out there and perform and help the next generation, which his relationship with AEW has been great. And you know what they say, don't fix something that's not broken. So who knows what's going to happen with him. I hope that he does go to WWE and does that last program with Cody Rhodes. So, our last extra, our main event extra. And this is another update that we got for the AEW TV deal. And man, we've been talking about this religiously over on the We Are Wrestling podcast, which is why I figured this would be a perfect extra main event to talk about. Because on the podcast, you're pretty much going to get all of us saying the same old thing. So that's why I figured let's just put it on an extra and let's talk about the update. So, according to Puck News, Warner Brothers Discovery is close to finalizing a package to renew All Elite Wrestling. Insiders say that the formal announcement could be as soon as next week, bearing any last-minute challenges. It looks like it will be a 4-year deal, 3 years guaranteed plus an option, and the $117 million per year number floating around wrestling message boards is apparently in the ballpark. According to the parameters of the agreement, AEW matches will air on TNT, TBS, and True TV twice a week. So it does look like AEW Rampage will be no more. Meanwhile, AEW is also pitching another package, primarily to broadcast channels. There's no timetable for when AEW will start to push that deal. And man, there's a lot of things going on. Plus, there is talks that AEW pay-per-views could be on HBO Max, which is also partnered with Warner Brothers Discovery, which, for me, honestly, all I care about with the TV deal is that AEW is in a better position than they are right now. And getting the pay-per-views on Max could definitely be a great thing because instead of spending $50 per pay-per-view, which now AEW is starting to increase their pay-per-views and stuff, I think just having it on HBO Max, I think is great. You pay a subscription fee, just like WWE Network, Peacock. You pay every month. I think that this would be a great thing for AEW. I think more people would actually watch the pay-per-views because that's one thing with AEW. They deliver every pay-per-views that they do, which, by the way, We Are Wrestling. We do live watch-alongs for all the WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views. So if you ever are looking for somebody to watch them with, I'm usually here live doing watch-alongs. I do love to read the chat, so just want to put that out there if this is your first time here. But with AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery, I feel like they're going to get the deal done. And I don't know why. I feel like they're going to make this announcement during the 5-year anniversary special, which they're already like teasing some matches. I believe we're getting Will Ospreay versus Ricochet for the International Championship then, which I thought they should wait until Wrestle Dream, but that's just another topic for another day. But I do think that overall, like, this could be a great move for AEW to go back to Warner Brothers Discovery. Seems like they already have a great working relationship. And if the network's happy, don't fix something that's not broken. I know that that's a reoccurring thing in this extra. Don't fix something that's not broken. And they just seem like they have a great working relationship. And I hope that they do get the deal done also with Fox, with AEW Shockwave, but I don't want it to feel like another AEW Collision or a Rampage or a Ring of Honor. It needs to have the same value that AEW Dynamite has. And that's why I think Tony Khan, like, he needs to really increase, like, the storylines, and he needs to, like, really, I think, have a brand split. I think that could really benefit AEW a lot. And then kind of like shuffle things around like every like 3 to 6 months. Do something different that WWE's not doing. But I don't know. I just think overall, like, I just want what's best for AEW, just like pro wrestling itself. I want what's best for WWE. And I think that AEW getting this TV deal, it proves that the company is not dying. Yes, they need to get better with like attendance and ticket sales. I will admit that, like, I'm sick of seeing the stupid pictures. I'm sick of seeing the stupid memes. But, hey, it is what it is. But AEW is not going anywhere. They just need to go in smaller venues. And then for specials and pay-per-views, go into an arena. Because their pay-per-views is definitely one of their strong points. And I think they have a great, talented roster. So I think having Rampage being taken out, I think that that's a great move. We don't need Rampage. Doesn't really have any meaning to it whatsoever. The only time I was actually interested in Rampage was when Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, which I think was like one of the first like few episodes. And then when they had Hook, because Hook was a special attraction to Rampage. So it had me tune in every week to see what's going to happen. But, yeah, a lot of updates going on here, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens within the next week or so. I'm sure we will be covering it during next week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, and we might even be doing more extras. Who the hell knows? But let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered in this week's extra. I am just having a great time right now, just creating content for all you We Are Wrestling maniacs. If you guys haven't listened to the latest episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, episode 126, myself, the Rage Circus, and special appearance by Old School Phil, we talked about all the juicy topics in this week's episode, which, man, it's a good one. Highly recommend listening to it wherever you get your podcast, or you can watch the video version for free on the YouTube page. But if you guys enjoy this and you guys want more extras, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, because the videos are right now really coming out of nowhere like an RKO. I will be doing a live watch along to Monday Night Raw this coming Monday, so I hope you guys do join me and just hang out and watch some good old wrestling, because Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso is going to be a classic. That was my highlight of the week this week. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow me over on my social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.
We are Wrestling Extra.